Hi everyone at Orange Wall TV. This is AHAD Raza Mir.
You had a very successful career in theatre in Calgary. So tell us a bit about that.
Sure.
And why did you choose to move to Pakistan?
My career in Calgary was going pretty well. I think I was one of the few desi actors आप कह सकते हैं जो उधर काम कर रहा था. और like I was doing Shakespeare shows, I was doing musical theatre, I was doing a variety of things. मैं खुद लिख रहा था, खुद direct भी कर रहा था. But there came a point where I decided कि मुझे Toronto shift होना है.
Okay.
Toronto to do film, TV, all these things. But then I realized that there's this legacy. So I actually, because the goal was eventually to do film and TV, but I felt that was the goal. The theatre was my passion, but the goal was film and TV, and I just felt like I wasn't really वहाँ कुछ खास exposure नहीं थी film और TV की. Or to be honest with you, वहाँ लोग like desis, they don't really go and chase those things. So I think that the reason to come here was that I realized I haven't actually I didn't consider it. I was like, I should come to Pakistan, I should see what it's like here and give it a shot. But the most important thing was that I had this family legacy that's been there, and I felt like I actually had a responsibility. And so when I got back, it just kind of took off from there. I went to MD, I did some auditions, and Momna Dured is somebody who's always, actually from the beginning, has actually followed my career. When I was in school, when I was doing my shows, like she was like, one day, like when you decide you wanna, so it was, she saw something, and she took a risk, which is something that I'll always be grateful for. But the biggest reason was my grandfather was part of the industry, my father is part of the industry, and I feel like in Pakistan it's so rare that we have generations in the entertainment industry. So I thought in India you have the Bachchans, you have the Kapoors, like it's actually such a beautiful thing. So I thought I actually felt it like it's a responsibility actually, like, and all the things that I learned abroad, I feel like it's time to go back home and apply them.
Okay. And is it difficult though, like living up to a legacy, because you're sort of like starting out in this industry and you already are being compared to your father, or because he was a pretty iconic actor, especially in his younger days. Even now he is, but so the comparisons come instantly. Is that difficult to handle?
Well, I think the comparisons were going to come regardless. Like they were going to come, and I think I wasn't totally like mentally ready for that. But I think it's actually, I think it's a healthy thing. It can be bad because people are constantly comparing, but I think that instead of thinking like, oh, I'm being compared, I think it's more about, well, it's more of a challenge then, because I have to set my own identity in the industry, and I think that's been my goal since I've been here. There's only a certain amount of time I want to be known as Asif Raza Mir's son. I want to eventually have my own, my own presence here.
I think you're getting there pretty quickly.
I hope so. I hope that's the goal. That's what my dad hopes too. He's like. And I feel like now people, they're like, oh, acha, Asif sir ke bete. And I'm like, that's actually the best feeling. We're like, oh, we had no idea. I was like, well, that's good.
But that's
good.
True.
Yeah.
Like, it was after Sami and after Parwaaz had been announced that people saw your work first, and then they were like, oh, who's this person?
Yeah.
And then they kind of linked you back. So that's amazing. And it wasn't like a family launch of any kind. You know what I mean? It wasn't like your family was pushing.
Yeah. That's one thing that people always, they're like, how do you feel, because you're like the son of an actor and blah blah blah, and like, do you think like you got like everything handed to you? I'm like, well, no. Okay, I studied for like 7 years. I worked professionally for 3. Like I put in my own work independently from my father. And when I got here, मैंने A&B के साथ काम तो नहीं किया. I went and I kind of founded myself, and so I think at least that was a good decision on my part, because I take it really seriously. For me, it's not like oh, okay, just give me some work. Like I really like sit down and I really think about things. I don't just say yes.
Amazing. So tell us, what made you say yes to Parwaaz Hai Junoon?
Parwaaz, well, there's one key word in there is Air Force. So they said it's an Air Force film. I was like, yes. Okay, done. I think Parwaaz actually, if I can talk a little bit about it, it's the best thing about it is that it's an armed forces film, but it's not. It's presented very differently than I think our past renditions of them have been. This one, it's funny. It's sad. There's action. There's adventure. There's actually a lot of things in this film that I think people have not seen. The other side of the armed forces. That's I think the most exciting part about this film. Besides that, I said yes because I feel like that's something I've never done. Something in the armed forces, a cadet. Jets. Like they said Air Force, and I was like, "Haan, bas."
Did you get to fly?
Sort of.
Cool. Did you have a reference point for the film, for your character?
Well, I mean, obviously, like there was this Top Gun. You watch Top Gun and you kind of research in that sense. But actually, I think that the tough thing for me was there were no as such references because I'm playing an Air Force cadet. I'm going through the entire transition. The transformation was like, because you're going through the drill that these cadets go through. So there was nothing for me to be like, yeah, is there any films I can watch about cadets or whatever it is? Like there was nothing. So the best part about it was we shot in Risalpur. We shot with the cadets. We actually shot on all the locations that the actual cadets go. So it was actually beautiful being immersed with the cadets. So you're actually watching them. You're seeing how they talk, how they walk, just the way they are. So at the end of the day, we had the best reference point. We had the actual cadets there to talk to, discuss. We're like, hey, if this happens, how do you guys react with that? And they're like, we don't. I was like, okay, I'll remember this. So it was actually fantastic experience.
Great. And what's been the highlight of that experience of shooting for Parwaaz?
There's one moment, I don't know if I can say, but okay, so I love films.
Okay.
I actually love films.
Yeah.
That's been my, I talk about doing theater, but film was always the one thing I wanted to do. So there's this point जब मैं शूट कर रहा था तो हमने एक शॉट लिया और मैं JF-70 में बैठा हूँ तो ज़्यादा स्पेसिफिक्स नहीं बताऊँगा बट बाद में हमने मॉनिटर पे जब हमने शॉट देखा तो मैं पहली दफ़ा वो फील कर रहा था कि आई एम एक्चुअली fulfilling one of those dreams and the shot was so good. वो मैं एक्चुअली जब वो शॉट देख रहा हूँ सब बैठे थे ओह वाह तालियां बज रही हैं मैं हाँ मैं पीछे जाता हूँ and I just started crying because I was this your whole life you're waiting for this please give me this chance, this opportunity, and then you see it. You're watching it happen and you just don't know. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because it was the little boy inside me hey man, you are in a film now. So it was really emotional moment.
What upcoming projects do you have in the pipeline?
I've got a project coming up with Hum.
Can you tell us something about that?
I can say that it's a family drama. Where
Is the expectation crazy now after Yakeen ka Safar? Do you feel that oh my god, the next one has to be?
I think no matter what, I think that's the way I work is the next one has to be better, and I'll work even harder just to make sure that happens. But the cast for the next one is really good.
When do you find out?
You'll find out I think next month.
Cool. And a message for your fans.
To all my fans, I just want to say that really it's an honor that you're enjoying my work and that you're supporting me. It means a lot. Trust me, I actually want to apologize. There's so many messages that come in that I can't unfortunately look at. There's so many. So I just want you all to know that I love you a lot and just keep supporting. And I hope you enjoy my coming project. So yeah. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi everyone at Orange Wall TV. This is AHAD Raza Mir. If you enjoy this interview, make sure to like, subscribe, and share.